Hello everyone, it's Shannon with Shannon's Crafty DIYs. Welcome to my channel. Today I am participating in another 5 under 5 challenge. The theme this month is the fall tier tray. So I will go into the playlist and the host a little bit later in the video. And also, if you like what you see, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and just give it a big thumbs up just to let me know you like it. So let's begin with the DIYs. Again, I have 5 for you today. So let's start with DIY number 1. So I picked up this jar from the Dollar Tree. I've had it for quite a bit now, but just never knew what to do with it. So what I'm going to do, I decided to start painting it off white. I didn't like how it was looking, so I actually went over it with 3 coats of black acrylic paint. Now, what I'm going to do here, I did this before in another DIY last fall. I took just a roll of toilet paper, I cut it in half, and I actually rolled it up in order. I'm going to be making a stem here, so I'm just rolling it up, and I'm going to be using some poly rope from the Dollar Tree and just wrapping it around the outside of the toilet paper. You'll see in just a second that it will look like a stem. I will show you a picture of my DIYs last year, what I did with this. And all I'm using is hot glue. Now remember, poly rope is plastic, so I find with the plastic and the hot glue, it does take a lot longer for the glue to set, and just be careful that the hot glue is super hot, so be careful of your fingers as well. So now I'm just going to hot glue it to the center of the lid. Now you probably didn't see already, I did just paint the lid. I kept the bottom of the jar open because I want you to be able to see what is inside. So now that it's glued, doesn't it already look like a stem? So I'm taking just some of the buffalo check ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to make a simple shoelace bow. I'm just going to show you here how to do that. I think everybody should know how to do a shoelace bow. I know there's other complicated ways of doing other beautiful bows, but this one is the simplest one that I know. Now, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you know that I just posted a sneak peek reel on what I am doing here right now. I am taking some of these Halloween fall fairy lights from the Dollar Tree and popping off the pumpkins. And look, guys, you can still use the fairy lights just as plain fairy lights after. You will see in this video, I will be using these fairy lights in more than one DIY. So I hot glued just the orange pumpkin to the bow, and I was like, no, it's not going with my decor. So what I'm doing here is I'm just painting it. It took 3 coats of white acrylic paint to cover the orange, and I'm just taking the Waverly Antique Wax and just painting the stem as you see here, and I'm just going to dry brush just a little bit more on the pumpkin to give it that weathered look. I think these pumpkins are so stinking cute. If you are looking for little small DIY projects, just remember you can always look on other things that you wouldn't have thought, like fairy lights. So to me, this looks way better than the orange pumpkin. Now, DIY number 2, I'm going to show you all of the DIYs and the final results at the end of the video. So stay tuned for the very end of the video. So I found these Recollection brand, so Michael's brand at the Dollar Tree, these cute little banner tags. They are wooden. I did just go ahead and paint 1 coat of black acrylic paint on just on the one side. I could reverse it later on if I want to. So I'm just taking this white metallic marker. I prefer this way better than the chalk markers that the Dollar Tree carries, or any chalk marker for that matter. I just find this writes so much nicer and cleaner. So I'm just writing the word fall, just freehanding. Very easy to do with this one. So here is more of those fairy lights. So I'm taking just 2 more pumpkins, painting them white, doing the same thing I did with the first pumpkin, and I'm just going to hot glue them just to the ends of the banner. So I'm using 6 of those wood pieces total, 4 for the fall, and then 2 just to add the pumpkins on the ends. So I think you're starting to see the theme of my fall DIYs. I love the black and white buffalo check. So I thought this black and white baker's twine really fit in well. So I'm just going to use that and thread it into the banner. Now, I think banners on tier trays are so stinking cute. I did forget to mention my tier tray theme is fall DIYs, yes, but I am doing my coffee bar. So I hope you guys are enjoying this video so far. So let's jump into DIY number 3. I found these jars. So in Canada, we have a store called Rexall. Remember, it used to be called Pharma Plus. Anyway, I got these last year at Christmas time. They were $14.99. A little bit more pricey, but they are so freaking adorable, and I love using these. And you could actually put like tea lights in them, you could put candy in them, you could do anything with these guys, and all year round too if you wanted. So I'm just making it into a coffee bar like I said. So I saw these stickers from Dollar General. So I had these a while ago. I did do a DIY last year using these stickers. Now, the black writing on the black buffalo check does not show up very well, as I'm seeing here. So I found this, remember this white, I guess it's permanent marker sticker. So I am just going to use some of that, unroll it just a little bit, and I'm going to stick the coffee sticker on it, and I'll cut out the shape in just a moment. So you guys have seen me use these before, these scalloped scissors from Michaels. It was a 3-pack, but I got these years ago, guys, but it is by their brand, so I'm pretty sure they would still have them in Michaels. So I'm just going to cut around the edges just while the back of the sticker is still on, so that way it's easier to cut and it's not going to stick to your scissors. Once it's all cut out, I'm just going to stick it to the jar. Now, I wouldn't say this is really a DIY, but it is. Like, I think the buffalo check just speaks for itself. So this DIY was just so fun to do, and it just adds a little bit more to my coffee bar tier tray. So I'm going to get into the playlist and the host right now. So this wonderful playlist is hosted every month on the 5th of every month at 5 p.m. And it is hosted by Emily with Farm Charm Chic, Missy with Crafty Cove DIY, and guest host this month is Brenda with Rustic and Lace DIY. I will leave the links to their channels and the playlist in the description box, so please go over and say hello. So DIY number 4, just taking these cute little picture frames that I found from the Dollar Tree. I just hauled them just recently, and I'm just going to remove the bow and the clip just using my needle nose pliers, and I'm taking my Dollar Tree screwdrivers and taking off the clip. Again, super love these screwdriver set from the Dollar Tree. So taking our famous calendars this year, and I'm taking one of the fall ones in the back of the calendar, just using my glue stick to attach it to the frame. So I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember cinnamon being so hard to find last year during COVID. My dad and my stepmom gave Craig and I this care package last year, and it had like apple cider and cinnamon sticks in there. So I was like, OMG, thank you. So you guys, I can use these in a DIY. So these suckers are super hard to cut. As you just saw, it just flung to the wall, and I was like, oh, okay. I think you definitely have to grind these a little bit, but whatever. It did work with my scissors. It did make a little bit of a mess, but it still worked. And so I'm just gonna hot glue it to the top. Can you see what I'm doing? It's starting to look like a pumpkin. I feel like the cinnamon sticks look like stems on a pumpkin. Who else thinks the same thing? Anyway, I had these white berry picks from the Dollar Tree. Usually get these in the fall or Christmas time. Just taking my needle nose pliers and just cutting off the desired amount that I want. Now, I've seen people use their pencils to wrap this around, but I'm just using the cinnamon stick, just wrapping it around because it is wire. It will form to the cinnamon stick, and now it just looks super cute and coily. So I'm just going to add it to the stem. I'm just threading it over the stem. You could hot glue it to seal it more permanently in place, but I'm just leaving it like this. So I just went ahead and made another bow, and now I'm going to be able to cover the hole where the clip was, so you will never know. And that is all I'm doing for this DIY. Super cute. So fifth and final DIY. Remember, you were seeing everything at the very end of the video. So I just had this Starbucks cup. There was literally just water in it. So I just dried it out and I'm just going to use it as my base. And I'm just taking the sleeve that was on it and I'm just going to trace it out onto some poster board because I'm going to recreate a new sleeve. But I like this just as a template. So I will keep this for future DIYs. So just tracing it out with a pencil and I'm just going to cut it out. Now, I will mention this is my own cup. So if you were hosting or whatnot, Dollar Tree has those disposable cups with the sleeves on them as well. So you could get a pack. I think it's 5 or 6 per package. So use those when you are hosting a party. So I was trying to use some of the buffalo check ribbon that I had, but it was too narrow and it wasn't going over the sleeve very well. So I just had some of this paper that I printed out from Google Images. I did this last year. I did a DIY. This is us. It was a thrift flip DIY. So I'm just taking this paper and just reusing it for this purpose. I'm just going to use my glue stick and attach it to the sleeve. Once that's glued in place, I'm just going to wrap around the mug just to make sure I have the right size, and I'm just going to hot glue it as I'm holding it down firmly here. And using the fairy light pumpkins yet again. So three out of 5 DIYs using these fairy light pumpkins. Guys, this is a theme right now. So I just did the same thing, painted them white with the antique wax for the stem. I should have just painted them all at once. I didn't have to keep repainting them, but whatever. So I'm just taking the same bow that I just took off the framed pumpkin in my last DIY. Just might as well reuse, right? So I had some of my scrap jute twine that I'm using as well. So I just hot glued the jute twine and the bow together, and I'm going to hot glue it to the mug. And then I'm just going to hot glue the pumpkins on the jute twine, going to stagger them just ever so slightly, offset, and then you'll see that I'll just cut off the excess jute twine. Now, I should have just done the bow, the jute twine, and the pumpkins all at once before hot gluing it to the mug, because once the bow was attached to the mug just kept rolling around. So I did have a little bit of frustration with this, but whatever. But the jute twine just kept making the pumpkin turn over, so I have to hot glue the pumpkin to the cups. But I think this turned out so stinking cute. Super excited. This is the big reveal. I had so much fun creating this fall DIY tier tray / coffee bar. I had so much fun. And guys, check this out. Even though I took all the pumpkins off the fairy lights, I could still use the fairy lights as just plain gorgeous fairy lights. And I think this turned out super adorable with the fairy lights. It just adds so much more character. It has like a cozy atmosphere to the coffee bar. I loved doing this DIY challenge. I am always excited about the 5th of every month because I'm always excited to see what the new challenge is. So remember, do not forget to visit Emily with Farm Charm Chic, Missy with Crafty Cove DIY, and Brenda with Rustic and Lace DIY. I will leave their link to their channels in my description box, and I will leave the link to the playlist as well. I thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember, I do post videos every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. The odd time a challenge comes up, so it's on a different day. So hit that bell button and click all, and you will be notified every time I upload a new video. All right, my wonderful friends, that is it. I hope you have a fabulous day, and we'll see you later. Bye.